Yeah, I didn't have very much money left. I I did not have much money left. But you know what? That AutoZone was really good. They answered really well. I would give my power of God powers to that manager. The manager was a real decent, nice person in my direction, and so was the guy that helped me with the battery. I swear the guy that helped me with the battery was really nice and friendly. It was the AutoZone on Date Palm right near Ramon, or right down from Ramon. So down from Ramon on Date Palm, that AutoZone. I had called, I got quoted a $100 battery, which they had perfectly set me up for that battery. But it turns out that even though my car is just an LE, somehow the battery spot is a different kind of battery. So I had to get a battery for a different kind of car, which instead of 100, it was like $240. It was like pretty much everything I had. But I don't think I would have been able to afford it if it wasn't for that manager. That manager let me have like a $30 discount. I was so grateful that he was just nice and gave me a discount in the first place. But now that I see my balance, I might not have made it if he had like made me pay the full price. So between the discount the employee got me, because the employee ordered, or the employee rung up some weird like battery cushions or something, battery hookup cushions or something, and he was like, I'm gonna scan these battery cushion things, but watch this, you get a discount, or I think I can get a discount. And he got a discount, and with these weird battery cushions, the price was less than it was supposed to be, with cushions that you think would cost extra, so it would be extra, but it ended up cheaper. Well, between that discount and the manager giving me a $30 discount because I had been quoted a $100 battery, I made it. So I'm really grateful because I made it. It's pretty amazing that I made it. You know, I'm somebody who needs to bail myself out of the car payments. So I really need to get caught up on these car payments. And the United States just keeps goddamn sitting on my money. Like, this is how bad this is. This is how bad this is. This is how bad this is. I'm not gonna lie. This is how bad it is. I have made no more than $100. The United States laughs and says, you're not making any more than $100. I'm gonna sit on your technology and you're not making more than $100. And I have watched them sit on my technology, and I will not make more than $100. But they also make sure I always need to buy something expensive. And you're like, okay, you piece of shit motherfuckers. Because if I only make $100 in a day, I probably spend about $30 in gas. So then I only have about $70. And they make sure I always need to pay for something that's like $20 or $30. So I only have like 20, 40 bucks I'm making every day all the time. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make you the most poverty, fuck you negative goddamn country ever known. And now they spent hours and hours and hours blubbering like fuck, staring at me, wondering how they're going to tell me that they're God anymore when they have no money. You know, this is what happens when you will not stop fuck you overloading against a dead God who probably had it the first bad thing they did against me. You know what? At this point, there's nothing I'm not going to do to them. At this point, I will sit and be so cruel and so sadistic and so horrifying. I will be the most evil God they have ever understood. And they brought it upon themselves over stupid shit. But I don't care. I'm tired of being abused in death until it's sickening and stupid and over like $10 and shit. I'm just going to fucking attack, and I'm not going to ever stop. I'm just going to be an ocean of the wrath of God against them, and I don't care, and I never will. But oh my gosh, huh? Like, and it's weird that I always need to spend $20 to $30 until I realized they keep breaking things. Like, one of my outfits had a hole. I don't know how it had a hole. I didn't pay attention. And then some God woke me up and said, you need to watch out. When you park in dark corners, the United States is sending weirdos that seem to be doing weird, bizarre things inside your trunk or around your tire areas. And I was like, wait a minute, that's weird. Because everybody at the trailer park was always doing weird, creepy stuff around the car. And that God was like, yeah, you need to watch out. Don't park in the dark. Don't park where it's dark anymore. They just have tons of people creep and crawl and do weird, creepy things. And I was like, oh, crap. So now I realize when I need to buy some new shoes, they're probably when I'm asleep, making sure I stay asleep and fucking with my shoes. So I need new shoes. And when I have a hole in my dress, don't know why, because they want me to buy a dress, to make sure I keep living in financial drain and only have 20 or 40 bucks every day. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that I have to use the power of God to fight back about such petty, stupid things. But at this point, I'm willing to do the worst things any God has ever done, just to be a wealthy, spoiled, appropriate God now. So, whatever, I don't really care, but I'm really pissed off. Like, I don't care because I know I can fight back forever now. I don't care because I already know they're in poverty, in death in their soul, and there's no way they will ever, ever have anything worth having. And, you know, that's my revenge in the end, and, you know, then I gotta wait for these countries to decide whether they're gonna give me the stupid 10% or not. And then I'm just happy I can fly to my own island and do whatever I want anyway, but just really pissed off. But you know what? Now that I'm done venting, I like to talk to all of you that always loved and worshiped me and remind you that just like Japan, you're going to get a test, and I'm going to tell you to give me something or do something. And that's the only way you're going to be able to have a future with God, is if you do what I tell you to do. So it's better to be proactive and think or say, my queen, what is the great Bonnie Annika going to want me to do? So I could just make sure I have a good relationship with God, because I understand that God doesn't like this planet now, and humanity has done too much wrong against a God. And, you know, what do I do to just make sure she's a happy God and I have a happy future? It's a lot more proactive and productive to just work through my queen, and find out what I'm going to tell you to do and why, and just do it. Because, you know, when God doesn't like a planet, there are no other options, and there is no happy reality. So you just do what I require to get what you require. So if you don't care whether you survive or live on beyond here, it doesn't matter. You don't even have to listen to anything I'm saying. If you want to live on and survive beyond here, if you want financial stability and selfish things, if you want to make sure you never end up in an emergency room situation, if you want anything, you better think or say, my queen. I know that I want selfish things, and you don't have to give a shit. So how do I do what you want from me to get what I want and the future I want? Because that's what it really is. When you give Jesus love and worship and nothing else, then you should get love and adoration and spoiling and nothing else. When you sit here and laugh and watch a fucking country treat me like shit, I don't owe you a goddamn thing. You better go through my queen, and do what you're told to have the future and the selfish things that you want. Because this God owes you not a damn good thing. Not happily. And that's the real reality. Japan always loved and worshipped me, but they didn't give me money all along. They didn't fight against the country, United States, to make sure I had nice things all along. So I don't owe anyone anything. I'm a god dead in poverty. No one did anything but laugh or offer me mockery. and fuck you. Now I will dictate, you will follow what I dictate, or there is nothing but whatever this earth provides, which is your choices dictate and reap what you sow and basic stuff. And that's a good conversation. That way you guys know that if you just don't want anything to do with anything, then you guys just don't want anything to do with anything. And it's just over. That said, though, the devil will try to get you to never live or have anything good. That said, the United States and Dubai will try to send random people that always try to convince you of things. So if there are people way too much on a mission to tell you what to think, if people are way too much on a mission to get you to do what they want, they might be sent by a country in secret, and they just don't want you to succeed. Now, there's a billion of you around the world that nobody would stalk because they don't really know that you'd matter. So we know that I'm talking to people that, that frequent my existence. And you guys might not realize this, but I'm talking to people who get stalked by these countries because they gave a shit about me to an extent. Or they were just around me friendly or something too much or something. So if you have people trying to tell you what to think or being too pushy about what you should think or feel, or they probably come from countries, work through my queen to rise above it or something. If something is talking in your head too much, trying to make you believe or not believe anything, the devil, demons, and evil gods that are my enemies and don't want you to have good things or a good ending, my queen to rise above it. You are in the times that you guys live in. This is not a good relationship with heavens after all this damage has been done. But there's still a way to get whatever you guys want as people. Because really, whatever you put into Jesus' statue and Jesus is what you were going to get. But more generous and loving and nice because he hadn't been killed. Once Jesus was killed after the crucifixion, people didn't get nice things easily. So this is just the way it works. When heavens don't like a planet, you can still get everything you ever wanted, but it's more like an agreement where God says you will do blank and then you will get the things you want. So that's all it is. But it's good to warn you guys, because when you guys get spoken to like that, you're going to want to be like, well, God doesn't like me and I have to do something specific. So then I just want to not do anything. Well, that's your choice. And nobody's going to force you to worship God. And nobody's going to force you to follow the rules of God. But then God owes you nothing. So that's how it goes. I think I've gone over everything. Good luck, everybody. Welcome to the end of the world. I will be walking around overly, degradedly, and more. So it's up to you guys whether you're going to give into it for these last few days. But every now and then, when there are good boys and good girls in the area, I might use my powers bigger than ever. I might fly or do something bigger than ever. But I might fly and use my powers on Monday, but act so degraded on Tuesday. So get ready. This might juggle around to win against enemies and bless the good that deserve a blessing, or at least some inspiration, since the rules have become very strict. Since I can't ever have a happy relationship with things that would abuse or mistreat me. I can't have respect for a planet that watches me in poverty. And I can't have respect for a planet that listens to me say that someone won't even let me have $1 on technology, and they won't sit and bring me $1. I mean, think about it. I sit and say I can't get $1 through a PayPal or a Facebook. I can't even get $1. I can't pay my bills. I sit and tell you they control my technology, my jobs, my living areas until I just can't pay my bills. I can't survive. Everyone knows my car and me when I'm driving around, but won't help me for shit. Well, then I don't owe them anything as a God. They will follow what I dictate, or they have no future. Not with a God, and that's how it should be. If you were always there when I needed you, then I should be there when you need me, right? But when I, as a God, had no one and nothing, then I don't owe anyone anything. Maybe my powers when they're nice or generous or kind or something, but that's about it. And that's not extravagant. That's just a thank you. When you want to go to heaven, when you want selfish things like stability, when you want to make sure you just go to sleep and go to heaven and you never die badly, that's what you want. I wanted money for security because I was famous. And it would have been nice to be world famous and have a lot of money to pay fancy security guards or something so I could be safe. I wanted a lot of things as a dead god, and I got poverty, fuck you, laughing, mockery, and fuck you. Okay, well now you're going to do whatever I tell you guys, or have absolutely no future with any god I have ever created. Good luck.